Hello, students. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the virtual world of business studies. Good afternoon, dear students. Welcome to a new video on selection. This is the third subtopic in staffing. Let's move on to the new slide. And here we are going to talk about the selection process in detail. To start with, selection is the second step of the staffing process. It is the process followed to identify and choose the best person from the number of prospective candidates who apply for the job. It involves conducting a series of tests and interviews. Each step of selection process aims to eliminate the candidates with lesser potential and finally select the right candidate. The process of elimination starts at the screening stage. So let me begin with the first step of the selection process. At this stage, the manager scrutinizes all the applications received for a job and eliminates the applications of unqualified or unfit candidates. In the preliminary interview, they further eliminate the candidates for reasons which may not be evident in the application form. Let's move on to the next slide. In this slide, we will talk about the different kind of selection tests managers use. After the preliminary interview, the selected candidate needs to go through the employment test so that their aptitude, intelligence, and personality can be measured. An organization may conduct different types of selection tests. Let's take up the first one, which is called as trait test. This is done to test the knowledge, special qualification, and skill of the candidates. Let's move to the other test, which is also called as intelligence test. Intelligence test measures the level of intelligent quotients and indicates the candidate's ability to learn, take decisions, and make judgments. Moving on to the aptitude test. The aptitude test measures the ability to learn new skills. It indicates candidates' capacity to develop. Let's move on to the personality test. Personality tests aim to measure the overall personality of a candidate in terms of emotions, reactions, maturity, and value systems. Let's move on to the next slide. And here we are going to talk about the interview. Now, what is interview? It's a formal conversation to evaluate the candidate for a job. It is to know more about the candidate as well as to get clarifications from the candidate and to give information to the candidate about the job. Let's move on. Once the candidate clears the basic screening and written test, they go through the formal interview process. It is an in-depth conversation between interviewer and interviewee, where interviewer may seek information from interviewee and also the interviewee is expected to provide the same. The interviewee may also seek information from the interviewer about the prospective job and the company. Let's move on to the next slide. And here we are going to talk about checking reference. After clearing the personal interview, employer may request for names, addresses, and telephone number of references, which may include previous employer or any known person who can act as references. References are used either to verify the information provided or seek additional information about the candidate. Let's move on to the fifth step. This is selection decision. Once the process of interviews and verifications are complete, the panel who conducted the selection process and the manager responsible for the performance of the new employee takes the final decision regarding selection or rejection of the candidate. Now, let's move on to the new slide. And here we will talk about the sixth step, which is medical examination. The physical fitness of the candidate is checked through medical examination. The candidate is required to undergo a medical fitness test. This is to ensure that the candidate selected is medically fit. Let's move on to the seventh step, which is called as job offer. The organization gives job offer to those candidates who successfully clear all stages of selection process. The job offer is made through a letter of appointment, which, if accepted by the candidate, confirms the appointment. The job offer gives all the details about the job, joining date, and other details. Let's move on to the next step, which is very interesting, and this is called as contract of employment. Once the candidate is selected and he or she accepts the offer, the candidate and the organization sign the legal document, which is called as contract of employment. It is the formal document which clearly describes the nature of job, responsibilities and duties, date of appointment, financial emoluments, working hours, type and number of leaves, grievance procedures, disciplinary procedure, termination procedure, and general rules and regulations of the organization. The contract of employment binds the employee and the employer by the stated rules and regulations. Thank you, dear students. I'll catch you in another video talking about the training and development process. Thank you.